Can you share a little bit about your journey? Like, who is
Sure.
Fabiola even before fitness was like a central part of your life?
Okay. Well, I'm not originally from here. I came from Brazil. I moved here at 21 years old to venture off the American dream. And that was
Yes.
the best thing that I could have done. Ever since I was like a teenager, that was my dream to come to America. And I was in college back then, and a friend of mine that was coming here, she said, I have an opportunity to come here. Would you want to join me? I'm like, heck yeah. So I, decided to not like freeze my college because I was in college, and I say I'm going to just go for 2 years and see what it's like. My goal was to come here to learn English, learn about the culture and everything else. And then here we are,
I
26 years later, now 27, actually 27 years later almost. And I'm here for good.
that's incredible.
That's where kind of like my journey started here, as a person living here in the United States and whatnot. But
I
yeah.
love it. How was that like trip and everything? Like, how was that leaving your family?
It was hard. It was not easy, that part of leaving, telling
Oh,
my parents because, I was in college doing psychology, what I thought it was going to be. Actually, I ended up graduating psychology here, but at the time, that's what my mom was like, oh, I want you to follow my footsteps and whatnot. So it was really a shock. But at the same time, my dad was very supportive, and it was a short term thing. So in their mind, it was going to be just a 2 year kind of thing, but ended up not being the case. But then moving here, obviously, I didn't know any English whatsoever. Before I came, I took like a month. I'm old.
you were not.
It was not at the time that we had, Google Translate and whatnot. So they had these CD, courses that you would take to learn the language. And I did one like a month long to learn some vocabulary and came here with that.
Oh,
And yeah, I just submerged myself. I was not afraid to go places with my little notebook. I had a notebook that I would write down the sentences and talk to people. There was no Google Translator back then. So
wow.
yeah,
That is so courageous of you. I mean, like, you already embody that, like, courage
yeah,
and just empowerment. But knowing, like, what you've done in the past makes so much sense as to where you're at today and, like, how you are willing to take those risks to be able to achieve more in your life, which is a
yeah,
beautiful trait to have.
yeah.
That's crazy, though. What was, like, your first job coming to America? Like, what did you do?
Oh God, you're gonna laugh. My first job was at Dunkin' Donuts.
I love it.
I worked there, and then, that was my first startup job. And then a few months later, I was promoted to store manager, which I worked there for, I think, about 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
But,
awesome.
from there, and one thing that I always did though, like talk about learning English. So, I actually, at the time, I worked 2 Dunkin' Donuts jobs because I'm like, I got to make money
Yeah.
to go to school and whatnot, right? So I used to work 2 jobs, go to school, any school that I could go to that say teaching English. There I was, ended up going to a couple college that they offered like courses for people that needed to learn English. So it was like my passion to really learn the language. I was not afraid. I was not even like bothered by the fact of me saying something wrong. I had no choice. I really submersed myself in there. And from there, I had many, many careers that I already had like a flower shop. I had a flower shop for 5 years.
Wow.
What else did I do besides my last career, which I became a teacher? What else did I do? I waitress a couple places. I don't even know, to be
Little
honest with you,
things
like
here and
just
there.
minor here things in there. But I did have a flower shop, like I said. I went into the business world. It was always something that I wanted. Ended up selling the business and got married. And then that was the time that I actually had the girls and I stayed home. That's when my life completely changed.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy. I
Yeah.
had no idea you owned a flower shop. That is
Yeah, I
so
did.
cool. I
It
love
was
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool.
It's
Yeah.
funny because my dad always told me, he was like, you are either going to go into tattoos or flowers. It's one of the two. Neither
That's
right
fun.
now, but it's funny that you had that. And it's just like, that's such a unique business to start owning because it's, I don't know, it's nothing that you typically, it's not something that's like consistent. Like, you don't
Yeah.
consistently see them everywhere. It's not like Dunkin' Donuts everywhere,
No.
but it's a very fun business from at least my knowledge. I know a few people that own flower shops,
Yeah, it was
especially
fun,
during peak
especially
season.
around the holidays. That's when you
Oh,
like really work your butt off.
and 10%. There's definitely seasons to the business,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
now in turn has helped you a lot with your fitness and your coaching, which I definitely want to get into as well. So, what was the turning point for you? Because if you guys don't already know, I know I introduced Fabi at the beginning. If you don't already know, Fabi is a coach. She owns her own coaching business. She's jacked, as you can see in the in the video. If you guys are watching, but what was that turning point for fitness for you? Like, when did your fitness journey begin?
Yeah, so that's the turning point for sure. So I always really enjoyed being active and whatnot,
Yeah.
but it was always like going to the YMCA, doing some boot camp classes, doing some random stuff. Anyhow, but it was always part of my life. Then after I had the girls, like I say, after I had my kids, I stayed home and it was like, okay, got to lose the baby weight, right? And at the time, I wasn't working, so I'm like, what can I afford? So I started buying a couple CD things and, I had a couple dumbbells. So fitness became my escape. And also, like, the only thing that really gave me joy besides my girls, because, I was not in a good relationship,
Mhm.
let's put it this way. And fitness was the thing that actually gave me power because I got my body back before kids, even better than what I was, I would say. And I really enjoyed it. I always been an early bird. Even when I was staying home, I would like get my workout 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, and then I got into like the beach body stuff because that's all I could afford. I would like save every single penny that I had to get those little CDs and like do the program to a T because it was my passion. It was something I'm like, I got this. Like, I don't have a lot, but I have this and I'm able to accomplish this. Until the point that I got to a place that I'm like, I want more. Like, physically, I had tapped out my capacity of doing it on my own. And I'm like looking at these results and I'm like, these people say that you can get these results and I'm not getting these results and I'm doing everything right.
Yes.
So I'm like, I'm going to hire a coach. And that was about the time that Instagram was kind of like, becoming more popular. This was because my girls were born in 2013. So Instagram
Okay.
was kind of like in the big uh, realm of things. Actually, I may have to back off. At the time in 2013, 2014, I really liked Instagram and I learned quite a bit about nutrition, even
Mm.
though like fitness was part of it. So nutrition became my thing. I really got into nutrition and I actually had a little meal prep business. Just done from home, but I had like a good clientele. I mean, I gotta say, from someone that was doing it from home, I had a good clientele from like the only one doing it. I went to a CrossFit place. I got a bunch of clients there. And I had a consistent like weekly clients, so
Mhm.
learned quite a bit about macros and all that stuff. So that was my gig then. But I'm like, I wanted to look like those people on Instagram. But I'm like, I'm doing all these beach body stuff and just running. I was a cardio bunny and doing just like that. I'm like, I'm not getting the results of the people here. So I saved every little penny that I had and hired a coach. This was 2017. And let me tell you, in 3 months, it was like remarkable the difference that I saw. It was finally something that I was looking for, the results that I was looking for, because I was always someone that worked, that put in the work, but I was not just getting the right guidance. I was doing the
Yeah.
wrong things. So from there, I got hooked. And the year after that, and again, like, to be honest with you, secret, not secret, but my ex-husband didn't even know about it. Went
Really?
behind his, yeah, I went behind his back because I mean, I know he was not going to be supportive about me
Yeah.
hiring a coach. So I'm like, I don't care because I care the way that I feel. This is the only thing I have.
Yeah.
And he just gave me so much confidence. I was able to finally get out of that relationship. And the year that I actually got out of that relationship, a friend of mine, she gifted me with a coaching package to compete. And
Whoa.
it was the wrong timing for sure. I was going through the divorce situation. And she calls me one day. I never forget that day. I was driving back from Maine. And she's like, we were talking about competing in this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it was just close to my birthday. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, guess what? I got you a 3-month coaching program with this coach, and that's it. All you got to do is call him, and we're going to compete. I'm like, are you out of your mind? This is not the right time. I'm like, all right. It's like, it's done. It's paid for. Go for it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like over the moon because someone did that for me. And that year I competed, and I think that's completely changed my life since then because I saw what I was capable of,
Yeah.
physically. And I'm like, I was always someone that put in the work, but I never had the right opportunity.
Yeah.
And it was just, I feel like my confidence levels boosted to the roof and I fell in love with it. And it's just not competing. It's just like, I feel like it was just a missing part of the puzzle in my life,
Yeah.
as being somebody that was always like put down and really not live to my potential. That was the thing. I'm like, I'm capable, and I'm like, I want to do this for others. So that's why I became a coach. I'm like, you can do it too. You don't need to settle. I see so many women that are just so sad and they just settle for the life that they have. They might not be happy and they just don't tap into the potential. And that's not what I want for anybody. I want them to know that they are capable. Like, if you want to change something in your life, you have to take the first step. It doesn't mean that's going to be easy, but you have to tap into that potential, and you don't have to live that life because you believe that's your fate. You can change the route of your life. And that's what I decided. I'm like, I'm not gonna live this life, this unhappy married life, and that's not what I want for my kids, and that's not what I want for me. And here I am today.
Wow. It's so crazy to hear the correlation between like even you moving from Brazil to America and then now starting your fitness journey. It all started with CDs, which I realized.
Yeah,
It's crazy, but it's so
I still have my CDs from Beachbody. I should definitely frame them.
you're like this actually was the catalyst of all of this. And now you're a successful businesswoman who owns her own business, changing other women's lives,
Yeah,
empowering other women to get out of the situations that they're in, and doing it all through fitness. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So give yourself a pat on the back, girl. Like that is incredible. Everything that you've gone through and been able to come out so successful in everything that you've done.
thank you.
I know that you talked a lot about the challenges that you have been going through, and you described fitness as being one of the biggest tools to overcome those life challenges that you've been faced in. What did that look like in the real time of like going through those challenges? Like, how did it feel? What did that look like for all the women that are feeling that same sort of way? They're like, I just keep getting like all of these walls placed in front of me, and I don't know how to get around them. What did that feel like, and how did you get out of like how did you manage that, especially alone?
Yeah. Well, you see, I think that's the thing that women don't know is that they don't understand that fitness is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond what they think to be like, oh, I'm just going to work out to lose weight. It's not that at all. Like, once you tap into that potential, that it's going to give you mental clarity, it's going to give you that happy feeling of feeling strong, of feeling capable. That's when you're going to realize the missing piece of the puzzle. So for me, it was really that element of like, no matter what's going on around me, it's my standard, it's my non negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I always try to see. Like, and I don't want to sound mean, but like sometimes I see women that are weak in that sense, they just give up because their partner doesn't support them and they give up.
Yeah.
Or someone that's around them, don't support them, they just give up. It's like that's the time that you say, you know what? I am capable. I am going to do this and I will figure it out. And I can tell you, Felicity, there were times in my life that whenever that coach gave me a program, I'm like, I need to do this workout. Okay. So, like I said to you, I don't want to go so much into the situation that I was in, but I'm like, I know I have to do this before he gets home. So I'm going to there were times that I got up at 3:30 in the morning to do my workout because I wanted to get that done. And I know that I was going to get that done. So I'm like, done. Nobody even knows that I actually did this workout. 5:30, done.
Wow.
So if you want it, if it's important to you, you will figure it out. It's and that's the thing. And I mean, I have gone through even competitions, let's put it this way, right? I have dealt with things that happened in my life when I was competing. My dad passed away, then 40 days after that, my brother passed away. And, I dealt with a lot of things that were like, oh my gosh, like where do I go now? But I didn't let that get in the way. It was like I have something else to go for, as opposed to just really feel bad for myself, make myself a victim, and just let everything fall apart. So it's just my go to, let's put it this way. And that's how I use it as.
No, 100%. It's the thing that allows you to stay disciplined to yourself and show up for yourself and put yourself first, which is
Right.
huge in your life and in so many others as well. A lot of people like what you said is they will become the victim and like the victim mindset of like, oh, this is happening to me. And that's something that you've definitely come across many different times, but you didn't let that
No.
bother you. Like you were like, I'm doing this for me. You're again such a powerful woman, and it's so cool to be able to listen to your story and everything that you've gone through and be able to still like come out prosperous afterwards.
Yeah.
It's truly remarkable. I know, talking about like, I know you don't want to go too deep into your past relationship, but how did that shape the way that you show up for yourself today? Because that's hard.
Yeah. So, like I said, my daughters were, they were born in 2013, and one of my daughters has a disability. She has Down syndrome.
Mhm.
So, there was another thing that was thrown in the mix. So, for me, to be honest with you, I am a person that has a lot of faith. And when I found out that she had Down syndrome, I really believe that God spoke to me and say she is going to be okay. And from that moment on, to be honest with you, Felicity, I never let that bother me at all. Like it was always just when, day after day, it was just like, okay, what do we got to do here? And I mean, Gabby is a remarkable 12-year-old girl, and she tries her hardest to keep up with her twin sister. And, they are two amazing girls. And the reason why I didn't once I realized that my relationship was not in the place that I wanted my daughters to grow up on.
Yeah.
I just decided that I had to endure whatever I had to endure, and I had to get out of there whenever the situation was, allowed me to. So I knew that I didn't want that for my daughters, because that was not the role model of relationship that I wanted my daughters to have, to one day have a relationship with their partner. So for me, I again use fitness as something to give me strength, to give me sanity, to be able to go about my day, to be a mom for my daughters, and not just to fall apart. Because my life, I can tell you right now, if I had stayed in that relationship, my life and my daughter's lives, it would have been completely different. We would not be where we are today. And I refuse to settle. I refuse to settle. I say, this is not for me. I know that God has a better plan for me. And it's not because I married this man that I have to be bound on this relationship forever. This is not what I'm meant to be. And my daughters are not going to watch their mom being abused, being put down, and it's not the norm. So fitness again came to me as a tool, as a powerful tool, that I wasn't going to be somebody that was not going to love herself. It's not going to be a victim. And it gave me the power to be like, I got this, and I'm going to pursue my dreams.
No, wild. You, fitness and your daughters are like the foundation for what you've built
Yes.
yourself on. One thing that I want to ask you, because I know you work with a lot of couples
Yeah.
and a lot of women who have kids as well. What, like, because I know that speaking to fitness coaches all the time, like the women that are fitness coaches that have kids, they're like, I'm doing this for my kids to be the role model. And just like what you were talking about, it's like this relationship right here, it's not a good, like, place to be, not only for me and my kids, but it's also showing my kids that this is the type of relationship, like, that we should not be in. So let me be the role model in this regard and shift and go somewhere else. And now you have a beautiful relationship with Chris. But with that being said, for the women out there that are also struggling with, like, I don't know what to do, like, even if it's not necessarily going through a divorce or a relationship thing, but finding that like core, like, I'm not just doing it for myself, but I'm also doing it for my kids. How do you change their mindset in that regard? Because that gives someone a lot of power.
Yes. I think you need to understand that when you have kids, you are responsible for their life. You are shaping their lives, because your kids are going to mimic your behavior. They are going to learn everything from you. Whether you like it or not, your child is going to be a mini you.
Mm-hmm.
So the behaviors that you display with food, the behaviors that you display with self-love or self-hate, they are going to pick up on it. And it's up to you to decide if you want to be responsible for them to have that same kind of behavior once they grow up. Are they going to also have to fight the battles that you are fighting right now? Or do you want to change the situation and be the one that says, you know what, I'm going to show my kids to be a role model, that I love myself, that I actually follow through the things that I say that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. It's easy for you to tell your kids to not quit something, to not quit a sport, to give their best. But are you giving your best?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's where you really have to get to, and look in the mirror. And it's not just a vanity thing. I'm not just talking about that. Just really have that conversation with yourself and really understand that you are shaping your child's future, whether you like it or not. And I feel like I'm really passionate about self-development and psychology. Obviously, that's what I got trained on, but I really love about behaviors, learning about behavior psychology, and learning that we are shaped in childhood. And That's why I'm so passionate about it, because I know my limitations came from childhood and I don't want to pass that on to my kids. So the behaviors that you display, your kids will pick up on it.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to really shift your mindset in that sense, because they will do the same thing that you are doing. So if you are somebody that don't have control over your food addiction, or the control in your food, they are going to do the same thing. If you are somebody that quits, they are going to quit. So that's where you have to really be honest with yourself and say, what do I want for my kids?
Yeah.
Do I want them to be better? I have to be better.
Yeah, there's that was so powerful because there's so many women out there that I know that still hold on to a lot of their childhood traumas, even if it's unrecognized, like
Yeah.
it's like subconscious. They're doing these behaviors because of something that happens in their childhood, whether it's their parents. I know that a very common one is like their parents always made them like finish their plate, and
Yeah.
now they have this endless cycle of like no matter what's on my plate, I have to finish it. And like it, no matter how full I am and all this other stuff. And like there's a lot of different like things that people go down in different rabbit holes, but it's so powerful that you said like your self love or your self hate is going to be reflected on your kids. And how are you going to show up on the day to day to show them that they should love themselves as well? Because that's again, a huge thing in people's lives. And people don't recognize how much your kids pick up on, especially at such a young age, too. That's where they're most influenced from.
And I mean, how proud would they be of you to see you
Yeah.
happy? And
Yeah.
the same way that they are going to see you happy, they're going to feel happy about it. And not only to say that either, like, how about the fact that, if you now introduce their life to them, like, let's
Yeah.
work out together, let's go for a walk, let's do a little exercise with mommy. And that's not going to be something that's foreign to them once they become an adult.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to know that exercise is a blessing, it's not a punishment. Because
No.
again, just like you said about childhood, sometimes their parents, and it's not to blame just on the parents. I don't want to be
No.
negative about that.
No.
But
100%.
a lot of times, depending on how old the person is, let's be brutally honest here. Like self-development and learning about healing, all that stuff, that practice, this type of practice was not practiced 40 years ago, 60
No.
years ago, depending how old you are. So this is something that now we have the knowledge and we know how powerful it is. So for me, I have the power to break the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to break the cycle and introduce, fitness for my girls. Ever since I had a baby Bijan, they have seen me work out. So they
Mm-hmm.
know about workout. They know it's a blessing and it's not a punishment.
Yes.
So if you have this in a positive note for your kids, they're going to see that exercise is good, and they're not going to grow up being someone that's adverse to the gym, that have eating disorders and have issues with those things, because it will just be second nature. You're giving them a gift of health, of empowerment, of knowing that this is what you do. This is the standard that you do to become healthy, to live longer, and just to do something good for yourself.
100%. No,
Yeah.
I love it. One thing that I do have to say here is you did such a fabulous job with your daughters and showing them like how powerful you can be just from working out and just having the self love. Because I see you post it all the time. Your daughters always work out with you and Chris, and it's such a beautiful thing. And being able to see them at such a young age work out and like understand the importance of being able to move your body and being able to lift weights and pushing yourself every day and have that daily challenge is like it's truly remarkable. So I just want to say that for a
Thank
second
you.
and give you that because it's important and you
Yes.
are a living breathing body of that. Did
Thank
you
you.
have any? Oh, you're so very welcome. Did you? I have to ask. Do you? I know that you brought up like the CDs and your coach, and then the also the Instagram influencers. But do you have any particular role models that you looked up to when you started your journey?
I don't like when I first started,
Yeah.
I don't think I had a particular one, to be honest with you. I was just very just curious about like the whole. I knew in my mind what kind of results I wanted to look and have. So I don't necessarily have a particular person, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays I do. I have a couple coaches that I look up to in terms of like, physique wise and things like that.
Yeah.
But when I first started, to be honest with you, it was really, I had it in my mind what I didn't really compare myself to that point. It's not,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong about being inspired by somebody. I have
Yeah.
many women that I look, I'm like, okay, I'm inspired. But in terms of like, I just knew what I wanted for me. And I knew like the work that I put in, I should be getting better results. And that's what I always like. The clients that I have, like now, I really narrow down the niche that I want to work with, and that's that woman that's driven. It's like putting in the work, but she's just not doing it right. And once you get a person like that, it's just easy because it's like, here is what you have to do, and they do it, and they're like, my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. It's really it's so interesting that even though like you didn't have any role models, it was like your role model was being better than you were the day before.
Yes.
It sounded
Yes.
like it's like I just want to get better. No matter what it is, I'm going to achieve whatever goal I have out for myself. And it's just again such
Mhm.
a strong mindset that you have, and it's very very inspirational as well. I know that Gabby, where your daughter having a daughter with disabilities is hard for a lot of mothers. And so how's that like how has that experience shaped like your perspective on health and strength and what it actually means to show up?
Yeah. So especially for her, right? So I don't know if you know this, but a lot of individuals with Down syndrome, they have the tendency to put on weight
Hmm.
if you don't take care of it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they have a low muscle tone, which is, if they don't really do something physically, they can just be really, lazy, let's put it this way, not really a lot of drive. So we really wanted to start that at an early age with her. I
Yeah.
think when it was, I think about 7 years old, we noticed she was putting on a little bit of weight. And we're like, you know what? I don't want Gabby to be somebody that is overweight when she grows up, because I don't want to have to put her through like a diet or things like that. And I don't want her to be obese. I want her to have a good quality of life. I don't want her to feel insecure. I want her to be the best that she can be. And we just decided, you know what? We're just going to have her move more. And she started, I was at the time that we actually put in the pool. So she learned how to swim. And she was always someone very motivated to do everything that Jules was doing.
Yeah.
So she got really active that summer with like swimming in a pool. And then we started, they were always like in the gym with me here and there. But then we started having her incorporating walks in her daily life. And she's a walker. Now, before she used to be a little lazy walking with her, with us, like falling behind. Now she walks 25 minutes on a treadmill every single day, and she loves it. It's like she comes home from school, mommy, I'm going to do my walk downstairs. Now the gym is down. It's down because we're remodeling. So we go for walks outside. We walk about 20 minutes every day, but it's her thing. Like she walks and she is in the gym, and she actually lost weight because of this. We didn't put her in a diet, nothing like that. We just
No.
really, it was just moving more. I mean, they eat healthy. They do eat healthy, but we go out to eat. She gets her little treat that she likes. She gets her little ice cream, but it's all with moderation. We teach them the value. Like she knows that protein builds muscle. She knows that, like, I try to teach food as a blessing and for what the purpose of food is. It's not shaming food. I'm not forbidden, nothing like that. But I want them to have that knowledge. Like, I feel like that's the coolest thing, that Gabby knows that when she has her egg in the morning, it has protein to build her muscles.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted for her, to be someone powerful, to be someone strong, not to be the victim. Again, I am completely against the victimhood. That is not what I want for her. I want her to be able to be functional in society, to be able to have friends, to be a happy human being. And Gabby is the happiest kid that you ever meet. Like,
Yeah.
unless if there's no sun out, she loves the sun every day. She's like, Mom, it's gonna be sunny out.
Aw.
If not, she's sad. So like the days that are cloudy, she gets a little bit gloomy, but I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But besides that, she's the happiest human being. Really somebody, a joy to be around. And I wanted her to be capable. I didn't want to baby her. I remember one time someone that in the Down syndrome community, like, oh, are you gonna get like a handicap plate? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
She can walk.
Yeah.
Like, she's capable of, like, we walk everywhere, like there's no need for it, you know
No.
what I mean? Like, she's somebody very capable, very healthy. I don't need it.
No.
There's no need for it. And that's what I feel like. Sometimes people have things that they think it's going to be worse than what actually is, and you
Mhm.
don't know. Like,
No.
you can't define something like this. You can't let something like this define you. You cannot let that be your identity. Like, oh, I'm a child that has Down syndrome and that is my fate. You can be Gabby, and you love music, you love dance, you love to walk, you love to do this. It's like, it's not your identity.
No. No. That's
So you don't need to be a victim. Yeah.
no, no, it's cool that you've learned so much about like just the fitness and health industry, not only for yourself, but also for your daughters as well, and like
Yeah.
teaching them the right things and like now they're going to be able to live the rest of their lives with this beautiful knowledge of being able to eat in moderation and not have these terrible disorders that a lot of people now have, unfortunately. And it's so cool that, again, you're that role model for them and you're teaching them the right way, and you're there to support them throughout everything. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I know that a lot of women, and you probably experience this a lot in your coaching business, always explain like how they're like they feel like they don't have the support. And that's something kind of going back to what we were discussing earlier. Have you ever felt that way? It doesn't seem like you have, but have you ever felt that way? And like, what would you say to the women that are feeling that way, or who are waiting for that permission with their partner, with their family, to start this journey for themselves?
Let that be your drive.
Mm,
Somebody doesn't support you, let that be your drive.
yes.
And it's not about you proving that person wrong.
No.
It's proving yourself right. You don't need permission from anybody for you to do the right thing. And that's when you realize, because you have to really be honest with yourself and realize what you want,
Hmm.
because it's not on your partner to do the thing that you need to do for you to feel better. He might not support you. He might tease you with food. He might say, oh, let's do this, but it's up to you to make that decision to say yes or no. So no one, unless if you are being forced to eat something, no one is forcing food down your throat.
No.
So it's going to be up to you to make that decision. You can move anywhere. You can go for a walk, right? You can do things at home. Trust me. Like I said, I lost a baby weight at home. I never stepped a foot in the gym for 5 years. Had two pairs of dumbbells at the time and a jump rope and my CDs. And I would run outside the go. Like I say, cardio was my jam there because that's all I could do. But even afterwards, I'd switch it a little bit to strength training. I've got dumbbells from like 10 to 25, and it was the best day of my life. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I got into strength training. That's when I started evolving with it. But that's the
Mhm.
thing. Like, you let that be your motivation. Someone doubts you, someone doesn't support you, do it on your own. Like,
Yes.
you have to prove yourself right. You don't need permission. It's hiding behind an excuse. I'm sorry
Mhm.
to say that, but it's you don't want it. You don't want it bad enough,
No.
because if you do, you will do it. Like, no one's going to say, no, you're not going to go for a walk. No, you cannot eat this food.
Like, hello. You're
It's
right.
so for me, it was always like, whenever I did not have the support, because I did not have the support for the longest time. It was for me, it was like, I'll make it happen. If
Hmm.
I can't work out in peace, I'll get up at 3:30 in the morning, and 5:30, no one is gonna even know that I worked out.
Yeah. No, I
So
love, yeah, 100%. I just want to point out one thing. The fact that you said, like, it's not to prove them wrong, it's to prove yourself right, is such a powerful frame of mind. And I guess it goes into the psychology in you, and like being able to, like, not necessarily manipulate someone's psychology, but just to reframe their mind in a more positive mindset. It's like changing that victim mentality and being like, I can work out. I'm able to work out, rather than, ugh, I have to work out today. It's like you're changing that constant frame of mind.
you get to
100%.
work out. Yeah,
Yep.
you get to work out. And I think, like, physically, because for me, I
Yeah.
stumble upon a lot of things that are hard for me. So physically, I feel like that's the thing. Like, I feel like I cracked the code that physically we can do anything we want. We can be better physically.
Yeah.
Like, there are things that I'm like, I struggle with pull-ups, for example. It's something that doesn't come easy for me. I can't do that. But I know if I go into a cut, eventually at the end of that cut, I'm going to be looking better. I
Mm-hmm.
can do that. Okay.
Yep.
It's not like, oh, it's not going to be like a breeze, but I know I can do it because I've
Mm-hmm.
done many, many times. But there are other things that I struggle with it. And even we had a conversation last year when we saw each other, and I went through a very dark time when I decided to go into the coaching business. There are a lot of things that were hard for me because of my limited beliefs that I had to deal with a lot of situations that, when you are shamed as a child, or even in your adult life, people shame you, that doubted you, things like that, that become your inner voice. And when you are faced with things that are challenging for you, like I felt, whenever I got into the fitness space, that I had to like learn a lot of things. I felt like I was back in school. I was not like, I was comparing myself to other people that knew more than me. And I felt like I couldn't even speak in front of others. I felt so, little, so small. And it was a lot of information for me, and I don't process things well like this. I don't think everybody learns differently.
Yeah.
And I
For
am
sure.
somebody that is more like, I'm all over the place, and it's hard for me to condense everything. So I struggle with a lot of things that were hard for me. And until I did some really deep work, healing with the things that actually got me to have those limited beliefs, really dig deep in there in the psychology, I decided that I wanted to heal, and I had to find ways to heal that. And it wasn't easy. Like, it's not an easy journey for you to heal the
Mm-hmm.
things that are your the inner voice that you have there, the demons that you fight inside of you. But if you want to evolve in any kind of situation, you're going to have to heal the path.
Yeah.
Like, you can. I heard an analogy the other day that was saying that, like, if you have a wound, right? Like, say if you scrape yourself, like when you have a really bad scrape, like, oh, how can I say it? Like, yeah, a very bad wound. You go
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
doctor, you're not just going to put a band-aid on it. They're going to have to go in there and scrub that wound and clean it out
Yep.
for it to heal. And it's the truth. Like, the people just put a band-aid on it. They never go deep and clean the wound.
Mm.
And it doesn't mean that you're going to have to clean, like if you have to make peace with somebody or peace with your past, it doesn't mean that you have to live there. You just have to make peace of it, and you have to clean it out, and then you move on. And that's what I had to do. I had to, because the things that were hard for me, it were really hard for me to surpass it. But fitness was something that always comes easy, and it helps me to get there. So it's like a driver. Let's put it this way. I hope I didn't go off topic here.
No, no, that was, I love that analogy that you brought up because it's so true, and it's such a great visual for those who are, they don't necessarily understand, or they think it's more so like they have to heal their, like they have to go through all of this stuff, and it's like, no, just clean it out, make peace with it, let it heal. Don't just stick a band-aid on it, because the band-aid is not going to actually collect everything or heal the wound itself,
Clean it
and
up.
move forward. No, that was such
Yeah.
a powerful quote.
I heard a thing today. I was actually listening to this podcast, talks about mindset, and he said
Mhm.
something so powerful. He said that sometimes we think to evolve, we need to do more, right? Oh, I need to do more to self improve. I
Yeah.
got to read more. I got to do this. I got to do this. He was like, sometimes you got to remove from you what's actually preventing you from evolving. So
Mm,
it's not that you need to do more, you need to remove the things that are holding you back
yeah.
from you to move forward, and the things that are not you, the things, the limited beliefs that were put in there, because I believe everybody came to this world with a talent, with a gift. The things that hold you back are your experiences in childhood. The childhood really builds you, and I mean, by 7 years old you have your identity from the things that were taught to you, the behaviors that you saw, and all that stuff. And obviously, life as well.
Yeah.
Traumas will happen there and all that. So you're not really your true self. You have to really dig deep in there and see, I have a talent, I have the ability to be somebody that I want to be, and who am I? So stop always trying to think that you need to do more, more, more. You have to remove the things that are holding you back for you to be that person.
Love that. No, that's so true. It's kind of like I always think of the bag of rock analogy. It's like if you're trying to sprint and move forward and you have a whole bag of rocks on your back, you're going to have to remove that bag of rocks, and it's going to be hard to do so. Maybe that's
Very.
people in your life, maybe that's bad habits. There's a ton of different things that that bag of rocks can hold, and you're going to have to release those so you can move farther and faster than you ever have before.
So
So it's
true.
very similar that what you're talking about, but I always think of it as like it's like a parachute on your back. It's like you're trying to
Yes.
run and it's like holding you back. But that's again such a powerful way to think about it, and being able to be like, you got to clean it out,
Clean
let
it
it
up.
go, and you don't have to just keep doing more. You can actually
Right.
remove a lot of the things, and then
Yes. Remove it.
take one step
Let
back
it
and
go.
take more steps forward. Essentially, I love it.
Let it go.
Yes,
Yeah.
let it go, just like what Elsa
Let
said.
it go. Whew, exactly. Go.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I know that you coach a lot of women, and I kind of want to dive a little bit into like
Yeah.
the fitness space, especially because you're so deep in it, where like you've lived it, you've done it, you've gone through all the stuff, and now you're far forward, and now you're helping everyone that is going through the same things. So how do you coach women that feel like but like it's 20 pounds, Fabi. Like that is I've so far gone. Like there's no hope. I'm like so far down the spiral. Like what would you say to a woman that is feeling that way, like feeling like all hope is lost?
Well, it's because, just like we talked about here, you're
Yeah.
just not taking the necessary steps for you to actually
Mhm.
move the needle in the right
Yeah.
direction. You are trying to do not necessarily what actually works.
Yeah.
And talk about the wound, right? We need to clean it out. And it's like not doing, sometimes it's not even doing more, it's just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
really just focusing on the things that actually make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's one day at a time. Like I always say, like if you keep going, you will get to your destination.
Yeah.
What's not going to help you is just to be focused on the result itself. You need to fall in love with the journey and the way that you are building your body. You are not beating on your body. You're not punishing your body. It's not about that. It's just like when you build a business, like you have to fall in love with the process. So when you attain that, you are going to understand what it took for you to get there. And it's not in terms of being hard or anything like that. It's just what you've learned along the way. Like if we just spoke, I think the problem is like some even I deal with that. Sometimes I have people that, drop at the 3 month mark because didn't come fast enough. Like if you just kept going,
Yeah.
every single day you are depositing that little marble in there.
Yeah.
And when you look back 5 months, you're not going to recognize yourself. You're
No.
going to look back and you're going to say, wow, I
Hmm.
can't believe I did that. And it's for me so powerful whenever I have a talk with my clients. And like I have clients anywhere from 35 to, I think my oldest one is 56, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 56. And I was just talking to one of them. She's 56 years old and she lost 20 pounds in a matter of 5 months. Amazing. And kind of reminds me of me because like was doing everything right but
Yeah.
not getting the results because she was just not doing the right things, but the work ethic was there. And she even told me, she was like, 3 months I didn't see results, then all of a sudden it just turned a corner because she kept going. So I'm very encouraging in terms of like, even if it's a half a pound that you lost here, you still are making a difference. You have to fall in love with the journey. And what you need to understand is that those 20 pounds didn't come on overnight. They're not going to come off overnight either. And I
No.
really try to educate in terms of diet culture. It's not the way that you actually get back to your old self. It's not going to be that crash diet of you losing 20 pounds in a month.
No.
It's not, if you just look for that result, you're not really going to find success because you're not falling in love with the journey. So, what I do say is like, you need to understand that you are building yourself, right? It's not the same way that you don't build a house in 2 days, it's going to take time. So, there are processes, there are things that you're going to have to go through for you to get there. And it's never going to just be a destination. Once you get there, you're going to have to cultivate those habits so they stick and you can become better. I always try to encourage them just to be better than what they were yesterday. It's not because you turned 40 that your life is over.
No.
And that's what I really see. It's so sad. It's so sad because I'm around a lot of moms, right? My kids have sports and all that stuff. And you see that it's like the moms, they just live for their kids. They forgot about themselves. They just don't care.
No.
And like we talked about this throughout this podcast, like you don't understand that impact that you're doing that to your kids.
Yeah.
They see you. They
Hmm.
see you that you're not happy. They see you that you're not, you are avoiding the pictures or you are like hiding behind them or they see you.
Yeah. 100%. And they're going to pick up on more than what you pick up on, even in yourself, because they see you from an outsider perspective as
Yeah.
well.
You
A
can't
hundred.
hide from them. You can't.
No.
Can't.
And it's what you brought up with the parents, like they live for their kids and they forgot about themselves. And it's like, at that point, it's like, are you really living for your kids? So, because if you did,
Yeah.
then wouldn't you want to be a good role model for them? Like, wouldn't you want to be this for them and that for them? And that's a very incredible question to ask yourself. It's like, am I actually living for my kids or am I just doing the things that I
Yeah.
think is going to be right for my kids?
Yeah.
No.
And the thing is, it's spiral because if you don't show your kids that you also have limits, right? If you don't set those limitations that your kids just think that you live for them, like they don't see the value on their mom either. And you have to have boundaries. And
Yeah.
that's what I see sometimes is like they just flood themselves with extracurriculum activities. They drive their kids everywhere and they don't have a minute for themselves because it's just about the kids. And I'm like, you matter. Like, if something happens to you because you're not taking care of yourself, okay, was that worth it? And to
Yeah.
be honest with you, if you ask a kid, they don't want to do all of these activities either.
No.
It's like, you have to, and I think it honestly comes back to maybe that's how they were brought up.
Yeah.
to be that child that just had to go here, go there, and they don't know what to do. And it's just, it comes to the point that I have these conversations. It's hard. And it's like, you want to tell them, like, you need to set boundaries for yourself because I see the way that your kids speak to you. They have no respect for you, and it's because you don't have respect for yourself either.
Yeah. 100.
It's really hard because I'm like, my kids respect me. They know, and it should be like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be passed on to them like this because I want them to have kids someday that actually respect them.
Mm-hmm.
If they are young and they don't respect you right now, wait until they are teenagers and older than that.
Yeah, 100%. It's just gonna
You know?
manifest into, it's kind of like a downward spiral or like a
Yeah.
snowball effect. It just builds, 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 and the next thing you know, it might be too late because the kids are gonna be moving out soon, and it's just like, how do you rekindle that relationship then? Wow, that's it. Again, great recognition mindset for people to like reflect upon themselves. So thank
Yeah.
you so very much for that. What are a few daily tasks, like 1 to 2 daily tasks? I know fitness is definitely one of them that helped you go from just the what you were before surviving, so to speak, to now
Yeah.
thriving like you are today.
Well, so I am, like I say, I connected with God. I have a lot of faith. So I love reading the Bible, something that really brings me peace. And I find that now, I grew up, Catholic, no longer Catholic. I'm somebody with faith. I don't have a religion per se, but I'm really in depth with God and my faith. And I feel like the way that I am understanding things now in that depth has definitely healed me from a lot of things. And he has definitely elevated me. Even the connection here in our household with my kids, like we pray every night, we read a Bible together, and they are learning about everything. And that has definitely took us to a different level, all of us. And that has definitely been a change. I always had that in me, but I don't think to the depth that I am at this time in my life. So that's a practice that I have daily in my life that's present there. I also believe in deep meditation, which I do it at
Mm,
night, somewhat meditation slash hypnosis. I do it at nighttime. I feel like it's really powerful. That has helped me tremendously in terms of healing. I highly recommend for people that even have a hard time trying to point it out. Where do they actually have to heal? It's
mhm,
something really powerful to do. If you can do it with somebody, it's great. If you can't, there are some types of deep meditation and hypnosis that you can do it alone as
mhm.
well. So that's a practice that has definitely helped me. I gotta say, the last few years, that has
Yeah.
been really helpful to me.
No, those are beautiful. It's like reshaping your mind through reading the
Yes.
Bible and being able to. I love to look at the Bible, and I'm very similar to you in that regard. It's like I don't necessarily have like a denomination in my
Mhm.
faith, but it's very strong for me. Is
Yeah.
like reading the Bible, staying dedicated to it, showing up because God has a bigger purpose for you in life.
Yeah.
And that, like, coupled with meditation and doing that deep work, it's like you're going back in time with the meditation, you're fixing all of the things that are deep down inside you. And then you have this faith that's driving you forward. And
Right.
you're doing this
Feeding your mind with good things. You're feeding it with good things. I feel like a
100%.
lot of people they feed their mind with not the right nutrients. And when you feed your mind will absorb just like the kids absorb. Your mind will also absorb what is around you. You consume negativity, it's going to be going right to your mind. You
Yeah.
consume negative content, it's going to go right to your mind. So for me, honestly, I really try to do mindset podcasts, things that are going to elevate me, meditation, reading the Bible, things that are going to be positive and they're going to build me as opposed to destroy me. I don't need anything extra. The world has enough bad things in there and I think I'm all set. So it's not like I live in a bubble. I'm very aware of everything that's going on, trust me. But at night, I don't even watch TV. I avoid it at all costs. I don't waste my time with that. I really try just to, if nighttime comes, that's the thing that I'm going to do. Go to bed with something meditation that's going to put me in that state of mind that I'm going to wake up feeling refreshed, ready to tackle the day. And right off the bat in the morning, too, now that I'm going to a gym because our gym is being remodeled, right in the morning, I listen to my daily meditation, just set the tone in the right way.
Yeah, I love that. You like prep for the day, not
Yeah,
just in the morning, but also the night before,
at
which is a
nighttime.
really, really smart thing to do. I love that because you wake
Yeah,
up in a different mood and wake up in a different mindset. And it also helps your sleep in the long run too,
yeah,
for talking about just like typical
Yeah.
health as well. I have a few closing questions here.
Sure.
So, what would you tell the women listening who feel like they're stuck in this cycle of feeling unworthy or weak? I know we've kind of brought it up throughout the podcast, but I want to like connect it all
Yeah.
together now.
It's one of those things you need to take action to create the life that you want.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think about your life is not going to get better by chance. It's going to get better by actions. So if you keep doing the same thing that you are doing every single day and you don't put any action towards the future, you are never going to change. Your life is going to be the same. So, 5 years down the road, you're going to look back and you are at the same place. How sad is that? So it's going to come down to the point that you have to fast forward in your mind right now. Fast forward 5 years from now. Do you want to be at the same place that you are right now? Or you want to be at a different situation. So it's really having that conversation with yourself and being brutally honest with yourself and understanding, stop wishful thinking, like what is the word that I'm looking for? Manifest.
Yeah.
I'm going to manifest that this is going to happen. That's wishful thinking. Like if you just manifest something without you acting on it,
Mm-hmm.
you're delusional.
Yes.
So that's what I would say. You got to take the first step, and it doesn't have to be all out.
Yeah.
Start somewhere. Start by taking action of one thing that you're going to do next week. If you're not somebody that's exercising, say, I'm going to go for a walk every single day next week.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. So one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you are all over your nutrition. I'm actually going to understand about protein, for example. Choose one. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my thing. I'm going to start with that. And you just build up on it. Build up on it. Try to get better. The following week.
Yeah.
Add slowly. You don't need to put all the ingredients in the sink.
No, no, 100%. You actually stole the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, like, that was in the beginning was like such a powerful quote. You're like, you can, like, your life is not going to change by chance. It's going to change because of the actions you would take. And immediately what popped into my head, and I know Chris Williamson, you might know him. He's a very big mindset.
Oh, yes, yes.
I adore the guy.
Yeah.
He's awesome. But he says this quote, and I believe it's from Alex Hormozy. He reinstates it a bunch of different times, but it's like, you can, every single day, you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can tell yourself X, Y, and Z. But if you don't take action on that thing, nothing is actually going to make a difference in your life. And like, yeah, you can visualize and manifest and all this stuff. But if you don't actually take the steps to get there, nothing is like, you can think all you want. You're not God. You don't just make things magically happen. But that was such a great thing to bring out there. So thank you so much.
Like
And
that
then
cave that you are avoiding to go, like that cave that you got to go in, that's where your treasure is.
yes, exactly. 100%. That's another great way to think about it. I have another question for you, and I think this was going to be a really
Yeah.
good one. Is if your daughters could only remember one lesson from your journey throughout this entire time, what would you hope that would be? It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. That their mom didn't give up.
Mm, I love
Yeah, that they know what I have been through. They have seen me battle through many things,
that. Yeah,
but their mom just kept going. She never gave up.
I love that.
So, and then I think that's the main thing. Like every day I showed up for myself, prettier or not,
Yeah.
feeling like it or not, but I kept going, messy or not. Their mom kept showing up. She never really gave up
Yeah.
because I don't think there's a time, to be honest with you. And even if I was not at my best, I don't think that they're going to say, like, mom was just like feeling sorry for herself on the couch. She didn't get up today.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with somebody you feeling like that. I'm not shaming anybody for that reason, but I just think that you just need to make a point to show up for yourself, whether you feel like it or not. Just do what you can for that day. It's even if you're not feeling strong to show up to show up for yourself at all, with all that you have, what is something that I can do today to show up for myself?
100%. That's it. That was a beautiful phrase to encompass your entire life, because you've never given up, no matter what
No.
life struggle you face, from moving from Brazil to America, to your ex-husband, to going like into fitness and nutrition and all this other stuff. Like, there is not one point in your life, even just learning about business, like, you have never given
Oh,
up. And
God.
yeah, Nothing that has ever come your way you have not succeeded through, which is again beautiful mindset to have, and it's definitely been shown throughout this talk today. And the very last question that I have for you before I can have you like say where people can find you at and follow you so they can
Okay.
continue on with their journey, but the very last thing is, what does like living a fulfilling life mean to you today, and what do you hope that your legacy is?
I think a fulfilling life for me to live today is just to be able to have time to enjoy
Yeah.
my kids, to be in a moment, to not stress about, doing too much, and just to be in a moment, to
Yeah.
really be able to fulfill my purpose in terms of, I know what I'm passionate about. I know my potential.
Mhm.
So I just want to be able to live to my potential in terms of like to be the natural thing, the passionate thing that I am passionate about, to be able to do that in ways that it's not going to consume my life, that my kids can learn from me, and that they can someday, perhaps if they decide to follow the footsteps, to live that life, to be a continuous, that this would be our legacy, that I was able to give this gift to them of living a life that knowing that you are capable of, that you don't have to be you know have A pluses in school. You are able, like, you are capable. You don't have to be um that model that's like that has like the standard that fits all. It's like, you have to have straight A's to be a smart kid. You are capable of so much more. It's not because you don't fit the standard that you are not capable. So I feel like that's what I would say. Like, you got to live I wanted to leave a legacy that's like, I want to live my potential, be able to fulfill my potential, but again, not let that consume my life as well.
I love that. Fabi, you have been such an incredible. This has been one of my favorite podcasts ever recorded.
Oh,
I have learned
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you
I
for
feel
the
so empowered. Oh
opportunity.
my gosh. Thank you. But I feel so empowered. There's so many things that I learned from you today, and I have a lot more insight on. And I know I'm not even going to say I know for a fact that people who listen into this podcast are going to take away so many things from you and have such a good clarity after watching this and listening to you speak about everything that you've gone through and how you've accomplished what you have today, because it's truly remarkable. But for everybody who is wondering, because I know that there's going to be a ton, where can people find you? Where can people follow your journey? Where can they get a hold of you and contact you?
Well, I'm on Instagram. My handle is fab_fitbody_coach. That's where I'm most likely present on. So yeah, you can find me there.
I love it. I love it.
And
And I'll
I
also link
post
it in the show
about
notes as well. But oh my gosh, you're so very welcome. And thank you so very much for your time today. This has been, again, so incredible. I am so happy we were able to do this podcast. Again, you gave so many great insights, and I'm so very blessed to have been able to speak to you and pick your brain a little bit.
well, I appreciate it. I hope that, it touches the right person, because sometimes you just gotta, if you help one person a day, your mission is accomplished.
100%.